Welcome. So we're a week out from London Marathon. It's what all my roads this year so far have been leading towards, and the taper's in full swing. It's a week. I've been doing a bit of a 10-day taper officially, but started reducing the mileage a little bit just because I'm not chasing volume in a taper, and it's more about getting the legs back. So yeah, we've been doing it since Wednesday. We're a week out. Join me this week as I talk through some common taper mistakes that every Tom, Dick, Harry and Sally makes, and knowing about them might just help you so you don't actually make them. There's a lot of value in that, isn't there? Knowing about something so you don't make that mistake. So kicking us off with a taper mistake, it's a little term, it's an amalgamation of the word paranoia and marathon. Paranoia. So paranoia is where you get worried you've just not done enough to get you to the start line come race day and find you on the finish line actually as well. And it's a worry that you get like injuries creeping in that from muscles and bones that you didn't even know that you had. It might be that little niggle down your glute, a pain in the bottom that has suddenly come up because you've started tapering, or it might be an ankle swollen for some reason, or you've hurt your little finger and you feel like that's going to cause you an hindrance come race day. Well, the truth be have it, probably won't. It's probably nothing. It's probably you just overthinking it. And that leads me on to my next one. Ramping your volume up in your taper. What's all that about? So it's not a time to be chasing miles in a taper. It's not a time to be increasing your training load. So you can take away the worry that you're going to lose fitness in your 2-week or 3-week or 1-week taper or whatever you're doing. You can't. Fitness don't disappear overnight, even though sometimes his body might feel like it does. And a marathon block puts a large amount of stress on your body. That's what it's all about. And stress and recovery leads to adaptation. So if anything, whilst you're recovering through your taper from the stress that you've put on your body, that recovery might actually make you fitter come race day and make you sharper, so that you've got that little bit left in your tank so you can make it across that finish line when it comes to the race. Something else you shouldn't do in your taper, try something new. Like, you ain't done it before, what's the point in doing it now? So don't be going out and putting strength and condition if you've not done it so far, and don't be trying some new like recovery boots or going for a sports massage if you've never had one before. And equally, don't go out trying new foods because you don't know what it's going to do to your stomach, or switching up your training where you do a speed session on a different day or something like that that is going to throw yourself off balance and put something new in your schedule. There's a lot of value in having commitments in a week and having a routine, so try and stick to it during your taper. And that means if you do a session on a Tuesday, and you always do a session on a Tuesday, stick to it. There's no point changing it now. Just reduce the volume and but keep the quality there. There's nothing wrong with that. So like our session this week, it's 2 by 1 mile with some 60-second like strides, which is nice and easy, and it's way more reduced than any of the marathon sessions we've been doing. Whilst I'm on the subject of food, don't overeat during your taper week and call it fueling. It's not really fueling, you're just overindulging yourself. Be mindful that you are reducing your volume, you're reducing your mileage, you're reducing the amount of calories and energy that your body needs to get by day to day. So just be mindful not to keep the fuel that you're eating during your peak marathon block. Also be mindful that you need protein to recover, but don't overeat. It's one of them things that you can do, and you'll turn up on race day feeling a little bit like a balloon. And whilst I'm on the subject of that, of doing something new, during your taper, you'll have a lot more time on your hands. There'll be jobs that you've been putting off doing around the house. We've got one in the garden. We've got a fence that's got a hole in. So we've had some new fence panels delivered this week. I'm not going to start putting in the fence panels and fixing the fence and doing some heavy labour jobs or things like that just because I might pull my back out. But there's other jobs, like Naomi's been pestering me to put the bike rack up in the loft. So I am going to go and do that. I'm going to be careful that I don't fall down the ladder. But yeah, you need to live your normal life, but don't be doing excessively like heavy jobs or painting bathrooms or decorating or anything like that during your taper. It's one of them that you'll turn out, that you'll pull your back doing something that your body doesn't usually do. So be mindful in your taper. Don't pick up an unnecessary job that might lead you to getting injured.
So I am week 2 into tapering. I do stuff slightly different to Gareth. I like to take it quite easy. I like to feel good and be fully recovered. And I like to reduce my mileage quite a lot. I mean, I don't consider my miles to be that high, but I've gone from 52 to 42. And then 42, I'm currently on 25, but I should be on 35 by tomorrow night. And then race week, should be on, I think I should finish the week on about 30. So it is a nice drop, and I have dropped a lot, whereas I know other runners don't drop the mileage as much or still do sessions, stuff like that. I do like to taper, mainly for my head. I overthink everything, I over-exaggerate everything, and I worry about everything. So by me controlling my miles and dropping my miles a lot, makes my head feel good, it makes my headspace feel good, and it's me controlling what I can control, rather than thinking about the uncontrollables. Stuff I do worry about a lot at the moment is weather. Am I going to be too hot? Am I going to be too cold? Every time a cloud comes out, I'm like, oh, it's going to rain on the day. Every time the sun comes out, I'm like, I'm going to be too hot. My worry this morning was I've not been doing my training runs with water. I've just been running in gels. So what if I take water on at the marathon and it makes me unwell? And it's bloody water. And I'm worrying about it. That's how daft it's got. I've even completely forgotten about what miles I normally take my gels. Probably forget how to tie my shoelaces up by the time we get to the marathon, because I will have overthought everything possible to have overthought. This week I've bought a new gilet, some new running arm sleeves, everything that I can control, I'm trying to control, and that's probably the worst thing to do in a taper, and it is the paranoia that Gareth keeps banging on to me about. But because I can control it, I'm trying to control it, which again, that's me controlling my worry. Don't know if someone can relate to that, but I think if I can talk about it and worrying and whatever, then it might help someone else that it is okay. And I do write tons of lists, and when I've prepped for an Ironman before, I've written down every training session I've done, at what point I took my gels or how many grams of carbs I want, whereas I've gone in a little bit more relaxed for this marathon, and I don't like it now. Like, this is something I've learned from this marathon block, is I should be writing down from my training runs what miles I took, what gels, because then it stops me worrying as I get to the marathon. And my biggest thing with running is getting out of my head for it. You can go out and do a run without thinking about it, but planning to do a race, I need to be out of my head, and you need to figure out how to get out of your head. That's my big things with tapering and stuff like that. Learning from the races I've done in the past. Figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, but do it consistently. Because I've now missed something out that I used to do, that's another thing for me to worry about. So yeah, and one more week left of tapering and then London Marathon. I'm pretty sure everything could go smoothly. And that's what another thing I've learned from racing is going in with a I'm going to race well today attitude, positive attitude. You actually race a lot better than if you go in thinking I'm not feeling it, not going to do well, I don't like this. You end up doing crap. So trying to stick in that positive attitude, control what I can control, and just go with the flow as much as I can.
Back from my Sunday tapered 15 then. Nice and easy this morning with Kai. And took me to 94.5 mile for my taper week. I've stuck Manchester Marathon on the TV, watching the live stream and people coming home now. 20 past 11, so I think the winner's just finished, but yeah, I've not paid attention to any of it so far, to be honest. Just getting messages from Birdie saying who's doing what and who's where. So yeah, sticking on the theme of tapering, and a little bit of advice for tapering. So going back to that, doing something different in race week. If you've not played football in a long time and you've not played other sports or whatever, don't go and pick up something in race week and go and play with your work pals or do something daft and find yourself injured. I did it a couple of years ago, a volleyball tournament at work, and ended up pulling my abs. I know the joke is, Gaz, you've got no abs. But yeah, I ended up pulling my abs. And yeah, I was in agony, finding myself like on a race day. Thankfully, it weren't a marathon then, but it could have been. And then as well, not using that extra time to actually do something smart. So use it to prepare your kit, pack your bags, get your kit ready, cut your toenails, get your marathon nutrition ready, which is always ideal. So I ordered mine from Sports Shoes, made Morton gels a couple of weeks ago. Just make sure they arrive for race day. And then as well, if you're lucky enough, so we're going down to Luton on Thursday and staying over in Luton. It's actually cheaper for us to do that than park in London with a car or get the train down from Wakefield and stuff. So plus it's a bit easier for us. So we're staying over in Luton Thursday. Go to the expo on Friday. Go and get your number on a Friday if you can. And it saves you going over on the Saturday and getting all them miles in your legs and steps done as well on the Saturday. And then as well, it's easy done in a race week. Last one really for tapering advice. Don't go in and change your race plans just because you feel like you're a bit fresh and you feel like you've got something else to give, or you feel equally as tired. Stick with the process, trust the process, and trust what you've done so far, and you'll go far. You'll go 26.2 miles to be fair. But yeah, don't change your race plans. And think to yourself, oh, I could go faster, because you've not trained at it so far. Just stick with the confidence that you've got. Don't get too overconfident, and you'll do well come race day. So yeah, that's me tapering advice from me and Naomi for this week. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, it's free. Like and subscribe, because it helps the channel out. And I'll see you next week. Good luck to those that are doing London. We're at London. We'll see how we get on. Got a target in mind. Looking forward to it. And look forward to documenting the full weekend of London Marathon. Bye.